Whether Wolverine can acquire any interest in land against the original owner. First, we need to think about when did the right of action start to accrue, and what is the relevant limitation period.
We can look at Section 13 and Section 8 of the Limitation Ordinance. In 2008, Wolverine came into FS possession, and in the same year, Susie has been dispossessed. After satisfying both sections, the right of action starts to accrue.
The owner accrued her right of action against the squatter, and according to Section 7, Subsection 2 of the Limitation Ordinance, she must bring an action against the Wolverine within the limitation period of 12 years. And then we can consider whether there was FS possession by Wolverine for the purpose of Section 13 of LO. To establish FS possession under Section 13, Subsection 1 of the Limitation Ordinance, squatter must show, first, factual possession, and second, an intention to possess, according to Powell and McFarlane. Factual possession means sufficient physical custody and control. In J.A. Pye, it established that the squatter should have dealt with the land as an owner, considering the nature of the land and the way it was commonly used. In this case, Wolverine received no consent from the original owner, so it is FS to the owner's interest. As the Wolverine changed the lock, it shows that possession is exclusive, as in Lee Theatre Realty. And such enclosure is the strongest evidence of FS possession, as in Buckinghamshire. It should be noted that FS possession requires physical control but not necessarily physical presence, and in our case, it is about interception of rent. Let's look at Section 12 of the Limitation Ordinance again. Wolverine could be in FS possession through interception of rent. There are generally three requirements in Section 12. First, the assistance of the original owner. Second, the owner's tenant. And third, the squatter. Susie has granted a lease to Happy Pig, but the squatter Wolverine intercepts the rent so that the rent is not received by the original owner. And in this case, the squatter's interception of rent is deemed to be FS possession, and at the same time, the rent is greater than $20. And the starting date of the FS possession is the day when the rent is received. Meanwhile, the squatter must have an intention to possess. It is an intention to occupy and use the land as his own, to exclude the world at large, including the owner, so far as reasonable, as established in Powell and McFarlane. In our case, with the enclosure of land and receipt of rent, Wolverine's intention to possess can be presumed. If Wolverine is successful in claiming FS possession, then what is the effect of the expiration of limitation period? Since the owner failed to bring an action to recover land within the limitation period, his title shall be extinguished, as according to Section 17 of LO. Wolverine can get a legal possessory title, which is transferable although it is not perfect, as established in the case Chen Chu Han.